Hi, I'm Stephanie.
And I'm Justy.
And together we're losing it.
We both lost over 100 pounds by developing healthy habits.
And I also had weight loss surgery and used a GLP-1 medication.
And I used a GLP-1 medication and had skin removal surgery.
We're really passionate about helping people learn to live a healthy lifestyle by sharing our experiences.
But we're not doctors, so if you have questions, reach out to your medical team. And you may see our mascot Sancho pop up from time to time.
And all three of us hope that you find our content useful.
Welcome back, friends. We are here for another episode, and this time we're going to talk about the lovely, I don't know which side she shows. I guess I'm recording, so she should be this way. Lovely Justy and her skin removal surgery. So this is round 2 for her. Round 1, what I was able to be there with her for round 1. We had a good time, and I kept her company, and she recovered well. With a few hiccups, but this time around she went solo, completely solo, and then home completely solo because life has been lifing for me and I've been traveling and, work picked up and life picked up. And so she was on her own this time. So I'm just going to open the floor up and Justy's going to kind of talk about her experience this time around because it is a little bit different from last time. Just some things to expect, what it was like for her, maybe some of the differences you could talk about between the two, round 1 versus round 2, because you have had some differences there. But just go from there. So just sharing her experience for anyone out there who is interested in specifically in medical tourism, because she did go to Tijuana for it. So
Yes, so I went to Mexico, to Tijuana. Dr. Galvez and Dr. Sanchez, they're with BC Plastics. First of all, I would recommend them 1,000 times over. The last time, my first surgery that I had a reverse tummy tuck. I had a FDL, which is an incision from your, like, I guess it would be vertically on your stomach. I had a 360 tummy tuck. I had a back lift. I had an extended arm lift. I had muscle repair and a Mons lift. So I had all of that surgery done at once. I had about 10 feet of scars or incisions on my body at once. And it was that round. Actually, I feel like I went into it much more naive. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know what was going to go on. I didn't know how I was going to feel. With round 2, I had a breast lift with augmentation. I had liposuction on my back, and then I had a vertical thigh reduction lift. It's not really lift, it's a reduction, which is a lot less surgery, but I knew what I was getting into, and so I was a lot more nervous my second round for some reason. The process was pretty much the same. So you fly to San Diego, they pick you up, they take you straight to the hospital. You check in the day before. I actually went the day before, so I could just be there. And then you go through all the pre-op stuff, and they mark you up. Dr. Gavos or Sanchez, whichever one's doing the surgery, will come in and mark you up, which is it's vulnerable, but then
humbling, I'm sure, very humbling.
humbling, vulnerable. This time it was a lot less than the first time. I was able to ask a little bit more questions. I just knew more, I guess. And because I wasn't sure if I was going to have breast implants or if I just wanted fat transfer or if I just wanted a lift, I wasn't sure. And so, he really took time to go through all the options. What are the pros and cons of each thing? What he thought would be aesthetically better, he thought I would be more pleased with. But ultimately the decision was up to me. Actually, in my quote, I had quoted for breast augmentation, liposuction, blah 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 blah. But he didn't. He said I didn't need as much liposuction, so my bill was actually reduced slightly. So they're not there to make money, right? So, well, they are there to make money, but they're going to do what's right for you, and adjust your bill accordingly. The last time when I was there, we added on a procedure, so I paid a little bit more money, but anyway, so that process was really, really good. It was a different hospital this time. It was a different hotel recovery this time, but basically the same process. I will say not having Steph there was, I feel like I slept a lot more, which I don't know if it's a good or bad thing, but I did not have any energy this time. And last time I felt like I was able to get up and just had a more desire to do stuff. This time I just wanted to sleep. I don't even think I opened the window blind one time in the 5 days I was there. And so that was a little bit different. I had the same nurses, which was nice. They all recognized me, the same ballet girl. Like it was very familiar and it felt really good this time. But I was in a lot more pain with the second round, which is weird. The liposuction sucked. The back pain was just, I felt like there was sandpaper on the insides of my body, just like scraping it.
You know what I
So
meant to ask you real quick? Do you
Mhm.
have scars from where the liposuction was? Because I know like you
No,
have scars from the rest, so I wasn't sure how that worked.
yeah, so I have what I have is there was one stitch in my back where they put the instrument in and did all the sucking. And then there's one little stitch on the bottom of each butt cheek where they shot the fat into my butt. So they took out, well, let me go through each procedure because
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think
yeah.
that would kind of help. So procedure number one was my breast lift and augmentation. So because I had a reverse tummy tuck the last time, I had a scar at my bra line all the way around my body. And so they basically used that same scar line under my breast. And then they went up vertically and then around my nipples. So that's where I have the incisions. And they removed skin and lifted, and then they put implants under my muscle, and then they closed everything together. He also said because of my reverse tummy tuck, he had to like do a little bit of extra work to make a pocket so that my breasts won't like just fall. So they're definitely on a shelf. So that was the first surgery that I had, and the results of that are I'm the same size. So I wanted to be a size D, which is what I was before. So my bra is a 38D. That's what I've always wore. I put a 38D on the other day, my old bra, and it is full. So she's full. But that's what I wanted. I wanted to be the same. I just wanted them to be up and more firm and full. So if I would have just done breast lift, I would have lost like a whole cup, at least a cup size. So I would have been like a C, maybe even a large B. And that just for my 5'9" frame, I would not have been happy with that. If I would have had fat transfer with the lift, then the possibility of that fat dissolving into your body over time is higher, obviously, than implants. So I chose implants because I wanted it to stay and I wanted fullness, and especially fullness up top. Um, they put in high profile breast implants, which is giving me more like projection, more fullness. And so I haven't felt really any pain at all there. And literally within a couple of days, my nipples, the incisions around my nipples, you could already tell they were healing. Like it looked in some spots like there were no incisions at all. Um, and my nipples are pepperonis instead of summer sausages. So I love that. I just feel more feminine and like, I don't know. I was telling Steph, I think, that this surgery, all the surgery that I've had, people have had like different comments about like, oh, well, now you'll love your body, or oh, well, now you can find a husband, or oh, now none of that is why I did it. None of that. I've done all of this because my body, my entire life has never made sense to my personality. Right. So I've always been very smart. I've always been very hardworking and resilient. I've always been goal oriented and funny. I've always had a sexual side of me, but my body never represented any of that. And after this last surgery, I feel like my body finally makes sense to my personality. And that is the reason I did it. It wasn't to find a husband. It wasn't to look like Dolly Parton. It wasn't because I didn't love myself. It wasn't none of that. It's because I wanted my body to match me. And it does now. So anyway, so that's the reason why. And then my breasts, that was a procedure about my breasts. Then I also had liposuction on my back, and that was sort of a thing that I was gonna do if they had time. If not, it's all good. When I had my first skin removal surgery, they removed a lot of skin from my abdomen, and I have a super flat stomach, and I've been doing a lot of working out and a lot of stuff, and just that back fat hasn't gone away. It was there before my surgery. It was there after my surgery, and so they were able to do the liposuction on that. Again, I didn't have a ton. They had put in for 4 units, and they only did 2. And my nowhere else in my body that did I need liposuction, so that's a good thing. So that was, and what they did with that fat is they processed it, and then they put that into the bottom part of my butt, because I had like um my butt was like had like little lumps in it, and we just kind of filled in the bottom part so it's just more smooth. And again, it didn't like give me its size. Like, I don't have like a big old booty or anything. That wasn't the reasoning. It was like, that's some good fat, let's not waste it, let's fill in these little dimples, right? um and then the last surgery was the vertical thigh reduction, and I have in my breast I didn't have any drains in that. I thought I was going to, but I didn't. He said because everything was very tight and there was no need to have drains. So good.
Okay.
That was great. Then my legs, I had 2 drains in my legs when I came home, but my incision goes from my knee, kind of the bottom of my knee, honestly, all the way up to my groin. And he took about 3.5 pounds from my thighs off. They did a little liposuction in the area where they remove the skin, just to kind of be able to pull it tighter. And then they take that skin out and fat and kind of pull it tight. Um, I'm pretty swollen still, but I can already tell like a really big difference when I put pants on. And it's just like things fit better. And when I walk, I was telling Steph, it's like, it's weird when I walk because my feet are closer together and my knees touch, which they never touched before because my thighs always touched. And I'm really happy with that. I know a thigh lift isn't always like perfect results. Like, I'm not gonna have like, model legs or anything like that, but the hanging is gone, and that volume is gone, and that heaviness is gone. And that is what I was going for. I do I was a little worried about kind of like the tops of my legs not matching the bottoms, because I still am a woman who used to be 300 pounds. So my calves and the bottom of my legs are not the most toned either, but I think he did a really good job. Because I'd mentioned that I'm like, I don't want to be stick thin legs. You know what I mean? I like being curvy. And so he did a good job. And another thing, like, it was funny because my friend Pippa actually had like, let me see your thigh gap. And I don't have a thigh gap, which I don't care. But because he had to not, and I didn't really know this, but I'm glad he knew it. He had to leave a little bit more at the top of my thighs than he did along the rest of my thigh. And that's just so you don't have labial spreading. And had he taken more
Mm.
skin off of that area, then I would have had labial spreading, and we want the kitty cat to be closed. So,
Right.
he explained that to me. He's like, it just depends on when I get in there, how things are feeling, pulling, laying, whatever. And so I do have a little bit of the skin and fat still left there. I'm fine with it, because who wants labial spreading?
Right.
Um, Especially since I don't wear panties a lot. I'm like, that would be really uncomfortable.
Yeah, right. Oh
Yeah.
shit. With some tights
So
on.
yeah, and so that's kind of just like the procedures that I had, and kind of what they did and why I had them.
So let me ask you a question, because I've
Uh-huh.
always been curious about this too, because you know what my legs are like. I have
Yeah.
always been like hips and thighs. And I have pretty big calves too. And I can see like if I was to, so I do these weird things. I'm sure a lot of us do them. No, I'm not the only one. Like I'll lay in bed or on the couch or whatever, and I'll lift my leg up and I could see even my calf skin hanging. Like I have excess
Mhm.
calf skin. When they do the thigh lift, does it, well, two things. And I don't know if you know the second thing or not, but when they do the thigh lift, does it pull that calf skin up too? Because I feel like they pull it so tight, it probably pulls some of that tight too. And also, do they ever go all the way down to like ankle? Because my feet look like little muffins. Like my ankles and my feet are so tiny, and then it's like above that. Like my calves are just so fat above my ankles. It's I
Yeah.
wonder if anyone ever does like pulls that
So
skin too.
yeah, so there's different types of thigh lifts. Like I had a vertical thigh basically reduction. It wasn't a lift. And he went down to the basically the bottom of my knee on the side. And so that did help a little bit of that. It did help a little bit of my calf, but not much. But there's other, like you can get a lift that will pull up. There's like a
Hmm.
J something that will pull in and up. Like it just kind of depends. The BC Plastics will not do anything on your lower leg. Something to do with the nerves I have no idea. It's kind of the same reason they don't do arms typically.
Mm.
There's some people that I have followed who've had a calf lift and calf reduction or what have you. So I know it can be done, but Dr. Galvez and BC Plastics, they don't do that.
And I
Um,
trust them. So if they say you
yeah,
shouldn't do it, then I just wouldn't do it. But
I
I'm just
trust
always
them.
curious about that. I'm like, am I going to be lopsided? Like, am I going
Well,
to
see, and
be
that's what I talked to him about. It's like I don't have horrible calves or anything like that, but they're just I'm not a small woman, and I just didn't want to have like chicken legs. And it's funny because I also didn't really want to have a gap between my legs. I don't know why, but this is kind of funny. So I just didn't want the hanging there. I liked the way my legs looked, like from a curviness and voluptuousness. I like that
a very
aesthetic.
Marilyn Monroe look where it's
Yes,
like
like
still got the volume?
I like that. So I just didn't want the hangy. And so they did a really good job at balancing that. It's kind of funny though, because I remember my dad. So my dad was interesting. And
Good choice of words.
anytime he'd see a woman with like a gap or like he called him square crotch, he would talk about their gap goodie. And I just didn't want to have a gap goodie. I don't know. I mean, if I put on like really tight, like compression leggings, I'll have a gap. I mean, I will, but just in kind of
Same.
normal
Yeah.
clothes or what have you, I don't have a
Yeah.
gap goodie. So, yeah, so I'm fine with that. I was very kind of worried about that. So I was worried about that, and I was worried about my boobs being too big because I still wanted to be able to like button shirts,
Right.
and that sort of thing. So I wanted them to be the same size as they were in my bra, just full, and I didn't have to roll them up to stick them in my bra. So, which my boobs look great. I love them. I don't care if anybody else ever sees them, but I love them. Um, so then
I'm sure I'll see plenty of them in a few weeks.
oh yeah, I'm gonna show you. I've sent like three friends, close friends, pictures of them.
I got
Um,
tit pics already.
yeah,
It wasn't unsolicited though. She
without the
asked
emojis
first.
on them. So
Yeah.
I'm like,
She
can I
asked
send you
first.
my boobs?
And the best part is the picture wouldn't send. She's like, we've been having issues with like sending because we would always send each other our plan for the day, our meal plan and calories and whatnot. And the pictures weren't sending, so it's like, what the hell, man? So like we'd have to send some through like Messenger or whatever to get it to go because she's iPhone, I'm Android, so they don't get along so well all the time. But when she was in Mexico, I guess she was still in Mexico, and she was trying to send me the picture, and she's like, I don't know, I sent it like 3 times. She's like, you may get 3 tit pics, 3 titty pics coming your way. Like, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So at least it wasn't unsolicited like
Right.
some men
I
like
knew
to
it was
do.
coming. Yeah.
Right. So it wasn't a shocker. Um
No.
so yeah, so there's that. But then So the hotel was kind of like a blur to me. Just I slept. The nurses came in, they took care of me. I slept. They brought me food. I slept. They brought me more food. I slept. Like it was
You
not.
probably needed that, honestly.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
for because your body heals when you're sleeping. And so you
Yeah.
probably needed that rest to be able to heal properly. Because last time you had to go back to have a small procedure done for, slight issue, wasn't anything terrible, but
Right.
like the goal this time was to avoid that. So I think
Yeah.
getting that extra rest probably helps.
And the last time I had, and Dr. Galvez told me that, if there's going to be complications, they usually happen around 4 to 5 weeks. And sure as shit, 4.5 weeks into it, I started getting a couple of openings on my hips. And it's called spitting stitches. And it's kind of at that point where your body is like, hey, I'm not gonna um dissolve you inside of me, so let me push you out to these stitches. And so it finds the weakest point, and the weakest point for me was on my hips, and that's where they use like a stronger, or I guess a bigger, larger gauge suture. And so those are less likely, I guess, harder to dissolve. So that's where they usually have the complications. All of this was told to me. So I had choices though. Like I could have gone to a wound care or something here to get that taken care of. I could have just continued with using Medi Honey, which is like a honey uh, gel that kind of dissolves the slough, I think it's called, so that your body can heal it. And it just takes time, sometimes months, to heal. Or I could have flown back and had them clean out the white yucky stuff and restitch me. I chose to fly back and restitch me. Flying back, the flight, the restitching, and staying one night at the recovery was about $500 or $600. I can't remember. They did the hospital. They only charged me for like the anesthetic that they had to shoot into me, but obviously not for the labor or what have you. And I was healed within 2 weeks. And so for me, it
Right.
was like, I'd rather go there, get the shit done, and come back and move on with my life than nursing these wounds for months, or going to a wound care in the United States and then putting me through this whole rigmarole process that would have been way extra. Right. So
Right.
everybody said,
And I
oh,
remember you saying that at the time. You were like, I can just go and get this done and peace of mind and know that it's just a couple of weeks for it to
right,
heal, or I can drag it out. And I remember you also having issues with trying to get a wound care place to take
mhm,
you here. It was
yeah,
like a long ass waiting list, or people didn't want to take you because you had the work done,
right,
somewhere else or whatever. And it's just like, care is care. Do we really
right.
have to, or like, are we really dialing into where it happened? Does that matter?
Well, and I could have, so I had some options. The only option I really had was to go to the ER and then them refer me to wound care. So between an ER visit and being referred to wound care, which I did my research, and the process for wound care is they say that they can't stitch you up because you have to heal from the inside out, blah blah blah, yada yada, and you got to go back every week, twice a week, get packed, all this stuff. Would have been thousands of dollars, right?
Right.
And I
And
just
a
don't
couple
have,
months
and I don't have
of
patience for
recovery.
that shit.
Yeah.
My doctor,
Right.
who I trust, was telling me, you can come back and we can clean you out and we can stitch you up. If we can't stitch you up, we can give you a treatment plan that will work for you. And so I just chose to do that. I mean, it was like a whirlwind because of a lot of different reasons, but I did it. I got there, I got stitched up, I came back, and I have not had an issue since. With this surgery, basically the sutures that are in my thighs are the same, and my breasts are the same that were on my arms. So it's not the thicker ones. So I'm hoping my body will dissolve those like they should. I do have two spots that are just a little funky looking, not openings or anything like that yet. Who knows what, because like this shit like literally happens overnight sometimes. So I'm just keeping an eye on them and putting, medical honey on those to kind of give them a little bit of extra. I'm taking vitamins and that sort of thing. So let's all pray that we're good. Now I'm hitting I'll be a month on Wednesday. So I feel once I get past the 6 or 8 week mark, I'm gonna be good to go. But if I have to go back and get them stitched back up or get them cleaned out or have anything, that's what I have to do. I mean, it is what it is.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah. Um, but so when I got back, so hotel was, just I was just in a dark room for 5 days, and I was just not myself. I was just in a lot of discomfort. Yeah. And much more than the time before. The flight home, so I didn't have Steph to fly me home either. So, and my flight was pretty early. So, the nurse was really, really nice. She took me down to, because they didn't have the buffet ready yet for breakfast, but she took me down to the restaurant and I ordered breakfast. So I had like an omelet and stuff because I knew I wasn't going to be able to eat until 8 o'clock at night or whatever. So they drop you off at the airport in San Diego, and they have wheelchair assistance. So when you book your flight, you get wheelchair assistance on there. So they have a wheelchair ready for you. You check your bags right at the curb. The wheelchair people will roll you to your gate and you sit there. And then they'll come back and check on you about an hour before the flight and ask you if you need to be wheeled to the bathroom, if you need to be wheeled anywhere to get anything. I did not. But what I did do is I pocketed the sleeping pills from the 2 nights prior. And so I popped those bad boys before I got on the plane. So by the time I got on the plane, I was good to go.
Right.
I had some snacks with
Because it's
me.
a long flight. What was the flight? 5 hours?
5 hours.
Yeah,
Yeah. 5 hours. I had my compression garment on, my compression socks. They gave me the nurse before I left, she gave me the medicine to put in my purse. And she wrapped the one up. She's like, this one's at 5 o'clock. She wrapped the other two up. She's like, these are at 7 o'clock.
they're so
Wh-
sweet and
yeah,
thoughtful and like, yeah.
they're so great. And so I had those ready for me. I had my water filled. I had some turkey jerky sticks. I had some like little crackers and stuff because my flight didn't have food on it. So the flight was pretty uneventful. I literally just kind of like slept the whole time because I took the sleeping pills. Then when I got off of the airplane, because I was able to walk, I didn't have to wait until everybody else got off. I just kind of walked up and found the little wheelchair sitting there. So I just sat in the wheelchair, and then they wheeled me all the way out um, to the baggage claim, got my bag, took me out to the curbside and dropped me there. And then my friend Bryn picked me up. So she scooped me up and brought me some snacks and got me home. So that whole journey was a lot. I think the next day I literally I like slept the whole day. Actually the first week I just was not as energetic as the last time, which is fine. Um I was in a lot more pain from the liposuction. The liposuction is the only pain that I had. It stopped about day 6, I think, where I didn't feel like I was rubbing sandpaper inside my body.
Mhm.
And yeah, I mean, this time was harder, just from like a frustration standpoint because I didn't have my mom. So last time my mom was here and this time she wasn't. And just little things, just like refilling my water. Like I have had to get up so many more times than I did before. And it's like you don't realize how much shit you drop until you can't bend over and pick it up. It was like every 5 seconds, I'm like, fucking shit. Like,
Yeah,
why?
you needed to pay for something. Oh, it was the retreat, the hotel, and you're like, I'll do it when I get up again because I don't have my wallet with me.
Yeah. Like
Like, okay.
I had to consolidate my ups. And actually
Mhm.
my friend Brett, she sent me like one of those sticks that old people have to like grab stuff, which is a lifesaver. But I had to learn to consolidate my ups. Okay, so I'm getting up. I need to get my water. I need to go to the bathroom. I need to grab a snack. I need to grab my medicine. I need to do this. I need to do this. And then I can get back in bed. So because just getting up was a lot. I could feel some pulling on my legs every time I get up. And I have a reclining bed, which is a lifesaver. If I didn't have the reclining bed, I probably would have rented like a electric chair, like a reclining chair for sure. I don't use the recliner on the bed anymore, but the first like week or two, it was like, "Zzz, let me," and then let me slide out of this thing. It was hard taking care of Sancho, my dog. Even though he doesn't have to go out because he's puppy pad trained to fault. Just picking up his puppy pads, mopping the floor if he had a little miss because men do that.
He already
Um,
knows you're talking about him. Well, he puts his feet on the pad and then
yeah, and
his
then he
butt is
comes
hanging off and there's poop on
right.
the floor. I'm like, Sancho.
And then he's bringing me the toy, but he's just Sancho, and he'll leave it at my feet on the bed. Like he'll jump on the bed and leave it at my feet, but I can't reach it. So I had to, get the stick. It's like every time I wanted to do something, the stick was like not next to me, and I'm like, damn it, where's my stick?
You need to carry it like a cane.
Yeah, yeah. So all in all, less surgery, harder recovery, and it was weird because I thought it would be easier because I already done it. I was more nervous this time going into it. The anesthesia was fine. I didn't have any issues with that. I kept my constipation under control, so I've been taking, stool softener, and then I've been taking that prune stuff every couple of days. So that was a huge help. And I'm just glad this shit's over. Like I
Yeah.
would do it 500 times again, but it's not easy. But every single day gets better. And that's what I've had to remind myself is, okay, tomorrow I'm going to feel 2% better. And the next day I'm going
Right.
to feel 2% better. And every day I'm more mobile. I can bend over now and pick stuff up off the floor. I can drive now. The swelling has gone down a little. I still have quite a bit in here. The swelling has gone down to where I'm at least comfortable. And yeah, so that's kind of,
Wait, but you didn't have anything. So you have swelling here, but you didn't have anything done
yeah.
there.
And my legs are the
Interesting.
bottom of my legs are really swollen too. Like where my calves and my feet. I've been wearing compression socks. But yeah, your body just and even my arms are swollen. It's like your body just holds
Retains
water.
it wherever it
It
can. Yeah.
goes wherever it can. And so I mean I have a compression garment on in my stomach. But I'm just still really swollen.
Yeah.
I'm drinking lots of water. I'm getting 100 and I'm trying for 150, but at least 130 grams of protein a day. Good protein. I'm staying, within 16 to 1800 calories because I'm not trying to be in a deficit right now. I'm taking Juven every day, which is like a amino acid, what is it called? Some kind of protein, drink for wound
For
healing.
recovery. Yeah.
Yeah. I basically take a shower every single day. So that's a process. You have to take off all your bandages and garment and everything and then shower using antibacterial soap. And then you get out of the shower and you have to dry all your wounds with a blow dryer. So like I put the cold button and I sit there and I dry myself. And then, putting the ointments or whatever. And the ointments depend on your healing. So some areas you're going to use Medi honey, and some areas you're going to use a silver, and some areas you're going to use Neosporin. And so you just kind of know that from the aftercare. Oh, I got to talk about aftercare too. And then you have to put all the bandages on, wrap yourself up, get yourself back in the garment. It literally takes me like an hour and a half to take a shower.
Let me tell you, that prune paste stuff, and you'd done a story on it about the prune lax. And because Chelsea, one of the medications that she takes causes constipation. And if she does not, she's 9. So if she
yeah.
doesn't drink her water that has her Miralax in it, anytime she goes a day or two and she misses, it's sure as shit 2 days later, my stomach, she starts complaining, her stomach hurts. She goes through it. We have to do like a clean out and all this stuff. And I was like, man, I'm like, she can taste the Miralax. And I know
Mhm.
it's supposed to be flavorless, but like it still has a little bit of a taste to it. We
I
put it
put mine in
in
coffee, so
yeah, and we put hers in flavored water. And I've tasted it before. I'm like, oh, I see what you mean. It's like, yeah, you can taste it a little bit. And so she struggles with it, and she's been doing it for so long. And she's such a trooper to be so young and like have to go through this, you know. Not that she, I mean, it's not like go through this, but you know, that she's can't just drink a regular ass water. Like it's gotta,
right.
you gotta have a Miralax in your water and you gotta finish it all. And it's like, and then you gotta take this pill and you gotta take that pill. So anyway, I was watching your story and I was like, "Hmm, I didn't even think about that for her." And so I looked
Yeah.
on Amazon. And first of all, Prune Lax has a whole slew of stuff. They've got gummies, they've got
Gummies, yeah.
pills. And I was like, you know what? I feel like we can do a gummy for her. Because here's the thing, like the one day she forgot her water for school. So she went all day without, and she can't just chug a
Mhm.
water and Miralax at night. That defeats the whole purpose.
The only
So
thing
I'm like,
is you
these
have to
gummies
be
would be great.
careful because it will clean you out.
Yeah.
Like for me, it's kind of like it says a tablespoon, and it doesn't. It says for um periodic constipation or something like that. So I
Yeah.
don't know if
Yeah.
it's something like it's a daily thing that you can do. But I take. I think the dose is a tablespoon. I've been taking a half.
Yeah. Well,
Otherwise,
we
I have the opposite issue. But yeah.
through all the research, that's just have you research a bunch of stuff. I found a kids fiber gummy,
Mm-hmm.
and it says that two of those is equivalent to eating four prunes. And I was
Okay.
like,
Yeah.
okay, well, it's kids, and she's a
Mm-hmm.
kid, and it's a gummy, which is a whole lot easier. Like, if you forget to take it in the morning, you could take it any time of the day. It's not like you're chugging water before bed.
And I like
Um,
the prune lax because it's more natural than taking like a chemical stool
yeah,
softener or whatever. It's like
yeah.
prunes and sugar and something else in it. I don't know.
And she's done prune juice a handful of times and she doesn't mind it. She said the flavor of it's fine. She can't swallow a big pill. She can hardly swallow caplets. So I was like, I think the gummies are the way to go. But I just thought I wanted to tell you that because I was
Yeah.
like, interesting. I never thought of that for her. All this time, we're like, Miralaxing the kid to death. She hates it. And it's just like, why are we doing like that can't be the only answer.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, so I got the kids fiber gummies and we're gonna see she started it today. We'll see how that goes. But
Well, good. So then, oh, I was going to talk about aftercare because a lot of people are like, oh my God, what about the aftercare? So if you're not a person that is pretty self-sufficient, probably medical tourism isn't for you. I'll just say that because the
yeah.
things that I've had to do after now, you could find a doctor, and I did this time. I found a plastic surgeon here in Charlotte that was willing to look at me if I had any complications. And then I have a friend who's a doctor that, said he'd be willing to look at me or, help
Bet he
me
would be.
connect that sort of thing. Right. So, but the last time I did not. But you have to, if you come home with drains, you take your own drains out. If you come home with staples and stitches, you take your own staples and stitches out. And you just have to fucking deal with it, right? Like,
Right. Yeah, because I took
they
some of your staples out.
uh-huh.
What I guess I did your back because you couldn't get
Yeah.
to your back. And you had
Hmm.
done the rest and you kind of guided me through like this is what I had to
Yeah.
do because I was afraid I was gonna hurt her. I'm like, it's almost like a
It
staple
doesn't
remover.
hurt. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's stable and it's a mental thing. So they send you home with a kit that has a staple remover, a suture remover. It has antibiotics in case you need a second round of antibiotics. It has more pain medicine, whatever. You can choose to get the kit or you can choose not to. I didn't get the kit this time because I already had it from last time. So I think it's like $60. Um, but it's a mental thing. So pulling my drains out, and the drains are about 10 inches long, maybe a foot long, and you have this like tube coming out of your leg or your breast or wherever it is, and you got to pull on that, and but then the drain white part is thicker than the tube, so you got to like get it through your hole. You just got to pull on it, and you can feel it like coming out. Like it feels weird, but it doesn't hurt. It's just a mental thing. It's like just fucking do it, and once you, then it's like, oh, it's done. And and then it just spews out all this stuff, and then you wrap yourself up and you move on. So if you're not good at that, or if you're somebody who has a high tolerance or a low tolerance to pain or ick, this is not the thing for you. Um, your incisions are alarming the first time you see them. I remember this time I had to look back at pictures and be like, okay, these are my pictures from the day after, and here's my pictures from 4 weeks after. We're good, because they're alarming. They put this glue stuff on you, so it's like black, and it's just you got black and blue everywhere. You're swollen. You're like, what the fuck did I just do? But every day it gets better. So your aftercare, they have you send in pictures every week of all your incisions. So um, I've been sending in pictures, and then I've been doing it on Monday morning. I send in the pictures, and usually by Tuesday night, they'll give me recommendations. And so, what they've also added on to their aftercare this time is, instead of email, if you didn't hear back from them within 48 hours, if all your things are normal, then there's a WhatsApp number that you can be like, hey, it's been more than 48 hours. I haven't heard back, whatever. Or if you have an emergency, if you have something that is not looking right, a weird smell, oozing, redness, fever, that sort of thing, you go straight to the WhatsApp number and you get immediate response. So they added on that, which they didn't have last time. But you can't be a person that's extra, right? Because it'll drive you fucking crazy. Because every little pull, tug thing here and there, if you're someone who's going to obsess over it, this is not the thing for you. But I will say, other than like in the United States, if I would have had surgery here, because I did get quotes here, I would have been sent home the same day or the next day. In Mexico, I was in the recovery for 5 days, 7 days the first time, 5 days the second time. And the nurses were just so caring. They taught you how to take care of yourself. They answered questions. They just took care of you. And I think that is huge. I just
Yeah.
really think that's huge.
And the thing about surgery here too is they send you home the next day or whatever, same day, next day. You're still at home caring for yourself. There's no
Right.
nurse coming to your house. The
Yeah.
only thing that you do is go in for like follow-ups, or,
A weekly
yes,
visit
they're
or
down the
whatever.
street if you need them, but you're still at home
Yeah. Yeah.
looking after
So
yourself.
you're just going to the doctor and they're taking your drains out for you, which you can
Right.
literally do yourself, because I've done it 4 times now.
Right.
So the aftercare is something that, if you're a big like person on like aftercare or whatever, then this isn't for you. But um it's doable. It's doable. It's obviously better to have a companion, or to have someone to travel home with you, or to have somebody take care of you when you get home, but it's doable if you don't. Um and yeah, I think if I would have had surgery in the United States, I would have, with everything I had, all of it, I would have probably had to have 4 surgeries, separate surgeries instead of 2. And my surgeries total were about, I'd say $35,000 for everything: flights, aftercare, 7 days of aftercare, 5 days of aftercare, all of that stuff, everything. And in the US, it probably would have been 50, 60. So, my personality, get shit done. I had a good doctor. I did research. I knew I was okay with doing the aftercare myself. I'm a pretty basic, simple person. Um, and it was the best choice for me. And I could not be happier. I cannot wait to wear a spaghetti strap summer dress with no bra. That is going to be amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and my boobies
Yeah.
will be up, like
Right.
not in my belly.
Not down here at your belly button.
Yeah. So yeah, that's it. I put a bunch of videos on Instagram leading up to the surgery, like literally almost every single detail. The emails you will receive, the pre-surgery process, the during surgery process, the recovery process, the first day in the hospital, the first day of, like, I have like 13 reels or something, all about skin removal. and then obviously I can answer any questions that you have. When it comes to my doctors that I had, and I call them mine because they are mine. And they're beautiful,
They are.
beautiful men. And
And
I guess
kind. They're just so
kind.
kind.
They're so nice
I
and
really feel like
caring.
bedside manner in a doctor like
Yes.
that is more, they could, let's just say they're busted with snaggletooth, but the bedside manner
Hmm.
itself, someone that cares, someone that's going to talk you through what's right for you,
Hmm.
not what's the most expensive, someone that's
Right.
not about tits and ass, someone that's about you getting your
Right.
body back that you were
Right.
meant to have all along. And that's it for me. I'm with you. I just don't, I'm not a fan of a doctor that's, because you think of it as plastic surgery. And when I hear the word plastic surgery, I think of like a Barbie plastic,
Yeah.
right? And that's
Yeah.
just it. Like, that's not what I want. That's not what you wanted. We just want to have the body that we
Sancho.
deserve to have because,
Yeah.
we abused it over the years and put a couple 100 pounds on it.
And
And we've worked
I
really hard to get it off.
struggled with that at first, to be honest, because I am more of a, not natural, but I like nature. I'm not the woman with the hair extensions and all of that. But I struggled with it because I'm like, why take the risk of having plastic surgery um for plastic surgery, I guess. But in my mind, I reframed it as reconstructive surgery. It's damage that I did to my body because of a disease of obesity, and I'm fixing that. And if I had breast cancer, and I'm not comparing obesity to breast cancer, but if I had breast cancer, I would be fixing it. If I had
Right.
gotten a car accident and got deformed somehow, I'd be fixing it. And
Right.
that's what I decided that how I was gonna look at it. And I did not go into this asking for perfection. My body is not perfect. I have scars. I've learned to love them. But I would much rather have the scars than the skin. And I'd much rather have the skin than the fat. So that was just
Yeah.
my process, right?
Yeah.
So I got rid of the fat. I had the skin. I got rid of the skin. I have the scars. It is what it is. So that was my decision to make my body make sense to me, like I talked about earlier. And you know I'm just, yeah, I mean, I'm so happy, and to have a doctor who understands that, and who you can tell when they talk to you that they are proud of you and that they realize what you've done is awesome, and they're there to like help you finalize this process, and they're just as excited about it as you are. You know what I mean? Like, Dr. Galvez follows us on Instagram, and he comments, and he's just really proud of the women and men, and then proud of the results that we're so excited to share with everybody.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And I love same with I've seen some weight loss surgery doctors, some weight loss surgery surgeons who have said similar things. Like they chose, I want to say it was even my surgeon that said, I don't know him real well. I met him a handful of times. He's, you know, did my surgery and everything. Um, but I believe I was watching a video of his and several of them say they chose it because they're able to change people's lives. They love to see the transformation of like coming to get the help. And there's a ridiculous, I don't know the statistic off the top of my head, but I want to say like only like 25% of the people who qualify for weight loss surgery actually go through with it. And then of those, the percentage that are actually successful with it is a whole nother statistic. But
Yeah.
they do it because they want to help people get their life back. They want to, be able to make people's, dreams come true,
Right.
essentially. And so it's this similar thing. And he's got that thing. He's not just, yes, he's collecting a paycheck.
Right.
Yes.
Hmm.
However, he's doing it with doing something that he loves. He truly
Yeah.
loves to see people transform like that. And you can tell when he does his like daily stories and stuff on Instagram, it is something that he loves to do. Like he's
Yeah.
proud of his work and he should be because he does excellent work. And we know a couple of other people that have gone to him too, but experienced it firsthand. And when and if the time comes for me, that's going to be it for me too. Like the more that I see you go through it, sometimes I'm like, I don't know if I feel like going through all that, but then sometimes I'm like, I also don't want all of
It's
this.
just, it's so temporary, you
Yeah,
know, like it is at the longest 2-month process for the rest of your life of freedom. And to me,
right.
it's priceless. Um, you know, it's funny because Dr. Galvin and I were talking while he was marking me up. And you know, he was like, you know, he's been doing this for a while. He's built the hospital and this sort of thing, and he's trained Dr. Sanchez, and he's off on his own. They do separate surgeries now instead of together. Kind of what's next for him. He's like, you know, people say I should write a book or this or that or whatever. And I'm like, I can't imagine you doing anything more important than what you're doing right now. Like, I
Yeah.
just can't imagine it because you don't understand how like life changing it's been. I mean, life changing. And for me to feel so comfortable to go back a second time, I don't know, I can't explain it, but it's just absolutely, you know, there's a lot of people that have opinions about their doctor or whatever, but I'll tell you that they are just top notch. And will you have guaranteed no complications? No. Will you have guaranteed perfect results? No. But you wouldn't have that with anybody. At the end of the day, they're good humans, and they're nurses, and everybody has been with them for so long. It's like a little family. His mom cooks food for you, for Christ's sakes. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
And her
anyway,
food's good too.
this is not a BC Plastics like cheer club over here, but I definitely recommend them. And if you have any questions on the process, I mean, I have answered hundreds of questions now over the years, and I'm willing to do
And
so.
some of them I filter for her. I'm like, you're gonna want to take this one, but once it gets too far, I take over for her. When people come sideways, it's
Mhm.
like the mama bear in me. And she
She
used to say,
is.
we're
She's
the
so
same
funny.
way. I'm just like, this motherfucker. Like, and I'm
I
no,
get
you're
the
not just
perverts, and
yes,
that it's like I'm there I am there. I show my scars. I never show anything like inappropriate, no more than
right.
you would see at a bathing at a pool,
Or a
um,
gym, yeah,
or a
exactly.
gym, right? But um, I've gotten comments even from people in my life, like um you know, oh yeah, yeah, you have so many followers because you're always in your underwear. Well, I'm not always in my underwear. Maybe once a month I will show my scars, if that. But it's not about me showing off my underwear. It's about me showing women what is possible.
Right.
Going from 300 pounds to going to what I am, that there's a possibility there.
Right.
Um,
Yeah, you took it there with the underwear. And
yeah,
nobody said
like
anything
I
about
don't.
underwear because underwear is no more revealing. And that's the way that I looked at it because it took a lot for me. And because I was still way overweight when I started posting my before and after or before and during pictures in my underwear, that's hard to post. Like my
Yes,
boss follows me. But you know what? I was like,
yes,
listen, this underwear is no less material than a swimsuit is. And I would walk on the
right,
beach in that in front of a bunch of strangers. So what the hell is the difference in showing somebody what I was capable of with the help
right.
of weight loss
It's
surgery to
nothing.
go from that to that?
It's nothing sexual for me. It's nothing
Right.
of, oh, look at me, look at me. It's
Right.
like, here's what's possible. And I'm trying to help women see you can take it to whatever level you want to take it to, right?
Right.
And yeah, it's interesting how people kind of
Yeah.
those
It's
people
not
don't
that.
those
It is
people
not.
don't get it. And there's some people
No,
who
it's
aren't
not
gonna
that
get
at all.
it.
And
Yeah.
because you and I aren't, we don't wear scandalous clothes. Like we're
No.
pretty conservative in what we
Yeah.
wear. And like we have our dresses for like gala night at the retreat and stuff. And
Mhm.
it's like, yeah, we're gonna wear something form fitted. We're gonna wear something that reveals because we fucking worked hard. And so
And
yes,
I
I'm gonna wear that for this event. But
and
we're
I
not
love
out on a
clothes.
Saturday night dressed like this is
No.
what we're dressed like on Saturday night.
Right. Yeah. So anyway, those people can kick rocks, but you know, I feel blessed though because of the 30 some thousand followers that we have, we get very few sideways comments.
Yes.
I mean, we're
Right.
very blessed. And you know, I remember when right before we went to Mexico with my first surgery, I put that skin removal video on that got like, you know, million something views. I did not anticipate over a million people seeing my fucking naked ass skin flopping body, right?
Right.
That was vulnerable. It's like it's not easy to do this, but it's kind of like I didn't have anybody that I knew, maybe a couple of people that were willing to show their before and during and after, so I could see what was possible. So I want to give that to other people.
Right.
And I know that when, not if, but when you have your surgery, um, you're gonna want to do the same thing,
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I show it now and I'm just like, whatever. Yeah, it's here and I don't care. Like it's at this point, it's like you're not seeing the goodies.
right, right,
The most you're gonna see is whatever you can see outside of a bra and underwear, which is the
right.
same as what you
Yeah.
can see wearing a swimsuit. So relax.
So anyway, so that is my skin removal part 2
Yeah.
video and or information. And like I said, if you want more information, you can look at our Instagram, if you're not already. And I will be posting soon. I will be posting some more. I think I put scar videos or incision video or pictures a couple of weeks ago. I'll probably do that at the month mark, just every month, showing kind of the progression so people can see that. And
I
then
just
yeah.
thought of something.
Mhm.
I feel like, and I don't know the date, and we probably should know this date, but I think we're like right around our 2-year anniversary.
Oh yeah, it was right before. It was before
It was
January. It was like
it,
December.
it was like the November to December. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So
We
we
should
could do
know
something
that
like
date.
that.
We should find that date and like write it down. But our
Yeah.
podiversary, that's what I'm gonna call it, is definitely right around the corner. So yay, 2 years to us. I gotta find that
Right.
date. Now I'm on a mission. I want to know it.
All right. Well, I think that's it. We talked
That's
about
it, yeah.
self-care,
And yeah,
self-love the last one.
self-care. We talked about our self-care in the last one. So if you haven't watched the last one, because we're recording in the same day, go back and
Go
watch the
back
last
and
one.
do it.
If you really want to know what we've been up to, go back and watch that one.
All righty.
All
Well,
right.
thank
Well, that was
you.
a lot of information, but I think useful for anyone. And we also now have somewhere to direct people if they want more info. They can come
Yeah.
here. So
Yep.
tell a friend if anyone is interested in plastics, especially medical tourism. We have the place for you. So
Yep. All
all
right.
right,
Have a good
friends,
day.
have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.